And it looks like we are now live on Hangouts, which means we are live on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, if you're joining us from Facebook, welcome. We'll give some people a quick second to get in here to get started, but we won't let the number of views hinder us or from starting. So if there's nothing else for the good of the order, I'm ready to get going. You guys ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right. 3, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, this is your boy BK. It's on once again, Patron once again. Episode 31 of the Play Your Way podcast, courtesy of the Play Your Way Network. You can find us on iTunes, on Google Play. You can find us on playlifeyourway.com. You can find us at network.com. You can find us at playerwaypodcast.com. And when I keep saying we, you know who I'm talking about? I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about my co-captains, Derek.
Already know it's me, Derek Lewis, representing that Texas to the fullest, and I am corrupting the system.
I have a frozen screen on Nate at the moment. Derek, what about
you? Say anything?
Oh, I'm good.
Say anything?
I'm good.
I guess Google Hangout freaking tonight. So, Nate, what you been up to this week, man?
I think it's the same thing we've all been up to, isn't it?
I think it is. I like that. I like that little segue. So I think we're just going to get right.
A galaxy far, far away.
Long ago. Some of us more times than others. And let's just get right on to it. We're talking about The Last Jedi, Star Wars The Last Jedi. This is an important episode because there have been a lot of people on my timeline asking when we are going to be doing this episode. What about you guys?
Tons. I have probably done my best to jap my flaps to everybody who's willing to listen and tell everybody that we're going to be doing this tonight. Anybody that's been sleeping on us, they need to stay woke tonight.
What about you, Nate?
I think different people are freezing on different people, so we're all just kind of silent, just looking at each other's screens.
I can hear both.
I heard Derek fine, but yeah, okay. I heard Derek. Yeah.
What
he
about
threw it to you, Nate? Have you been having people hit you up on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been excited to talk about this with you guys. I feel like we've had to wait quite a while, so here we are.
It does. It feels like we've had to wait quite a while. This time of year starting to slow down for our work situations, and so watching it when we all watched it, and I'm sure we all did watch it early too, so it wasn't as late into the weekend as others. Although I did watch it again today, so I'm going to hold back what I have to think about it. I actually both kind of had a preempt foreplay action with it when we did our So Nate, go ahead, brother. What are your thoughts on it? Was this a good movie?
I think it was a good movie. It wasn't a great one. I enjoyed myself throughout it. There are many problems that I do have with it, which I don't know how you guys want to do our little rundown of the movie, but there's a lot of things I liked and there's a lot of things I didn't like. I think I definitely enjoyed episode 7 more than I enjoyed this one. And no.
Where would you rank this one? So what would be your best episode of Star Wars in your opinion?
Here's my honest, Star Wars has the best fans in the world, and it also has the worst fans. I mean, everybody's critical. Everybody has an idea of how these movies should go. We've all written it in our heads. But that's what makes the universe so lovable, or people are so passionate about it. That being said, the majority of Star Wars movies aren't good movies. The prequel is all shit. Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, shit. You know, so A New Hope, Empire I would probably rank number 1, then A New Hope, then Episode 7, and then this one. Yeah.
Okay.
This is definitely better than Return of the Jedi and the prequels to me.
Okay. How about you, sir?
Well, lots of talks about this. And I will say, when I go see a movie, 3 versions of Derek that goes to see a movie. There's the fan of that particular movie franchise that goes to see it. And you guys have heard me mention this before, the kid in me, in essence. And then there's the journalist. We have the corrupting the system that's going to do its best to slice and dice. And then we have the Derek that actually observes those two to really feel how did that person as a fan watch it. As a Star Wars fan movie, it was a Star Wars movie through and through. As a moviegoer, it was entertaining, so I can't say it wasn't entertaining. As the type of moviegoer that I am, that is the journalist, I didn't like the fact that I could see lots of things coming, and I didn't like that I wasn't satisfied with a good chunk of this particular story, and it just left me very curious as to what I felt that there were several other solutions that could have easily solved a lot of these problems. But then again, I have to regress to the Star Wars fan and realize it is just a Star Wars movie. And is it a good Star Wars movie? It's a good Star Wars movie.
All right. Okay.
This
right.
definitely. So, that's quite appropriate for the next thing I was going to say. This definitely had the best lightsaber battle in any of the Star Wars movies.
This dude gonna make me go fit what? A lightsaber.
Whoa. You're gonna say this was better than Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan? Come on, what?
Yes, absolutely. Are you kidding?
Which fight?
Kylo and Rey taking on the guards.
Why didn't Kylo just crush them all with his force? Why did he even
didn't fucking matter. It was the best. Like, let's be real. It's better than any
lightsaber battle in any film up to this point.
No one likes the fast-forwarded Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul. Hey, I'm Obi-Wan. I'm going to stop every 5 minutes as these force fields pop up and watch.
Like the force fields, but the actual hand-to-hand combat?
No,
look,
dude,
it looked like George Lucas pressed 3 times fast-forward on that fight. It just looked very unrealistic.
Looked
filmed it and he sped up the video. That's what he fucking
unrealistic. So you wanted a realistic Jedi Sith battle. I understand.
Okay.
You know exactly what I mean.
I will say, when I saw them go back to back, Nate, when I saw them go back to back, I was like, this thing, let's do this. Let's get to work.
Exactly. This movie, in my opinion, like Nate, I'm going to go a step further. The best 2 Star Wars lightsaber battles ever. Like the 2 main battles.
There was another lightsaber battle in this movie.
Are you talking about the end?
There were 3. Yeah, the 1 in the end between.
I don't count that as a battle.
Yeah,
lightsabers did not count that
as a battle.
Lightsabers did not touch.
It was more like Luke performing fucking limbo. What is it?
Kill Luke Skywalker. She killed Luke Skywalker. And later on in the film, when he gets clarification about it, Yoda definitely speaks on the fact that she really just didn't need any training from him. She had already grown beyond him. There was nothing in the Jedi Codex that she needed to learn. She came to that planet all ready to go. She just needed to do a little Scott Pilgrim action and learn the power of self-confidence. Okay, that's all that needed to happen.
Get alive.
There.
All right. Well, I guess
we
since
we've do a round table and think what we let's
just take it from the beginning and just round table this thing.
I don't think I've even given. Did I give my views on whether or not this is a good film or not?
Yeah, you just did.
I don't think I did.
I feel like you're about to lead us off into it and start this round table.
I am about to lead. All right, so the round table. Let's start off with the problems. Let's start off with the problems first, and I'm just going to call out the first problem.
Okay.
All right. the obvious problem, and I would probably say I'm the most hardcore Star Wars fan here. All right. I'm just gonna say that. All right. The number one issue of the movie is the whole arc involving Finn. Finn, in my opinion, I think he shouldn't have been the way the last film was left. We thought he was going to be in a coma for a little bit longer than about 15 minutes. He was in a coma, the shortest coma in movie history. Like we start the movie and he's waking up. It's like, wait a minute, I thought you were out. Like, to see you till the from the get-go, that already is kind of concerning. It's like, wait a minute, that's off.
They really didn't know what to do with Finn in this movie.
Yeah,
I didn't like that whole casino subplot at all.
The whole Codebreaker thing was a mistake.
Yeah,
like Jericho. He in it, and like you said, where did he fit? Like nowhere.
He didn't at all. It was like I feel like we don't want Rey to be involved in interracial action, so let's give him some other person to fall in love with.
Well, it's
still interracial. It's still interracial.
He didn't accomplish.
They don't want Rey to be interracial. They want Rey to stay pure.
He met and fell in love with Knives, the Star Wars version.
The dark side than to join the dark meat.
He really didn't accomplish anything in the movie. He didn't get the Codebreaker. He didn't do anything. Yeah,
he did not.
They got the right Codebreaker. They got the wrong one. Albeit an awesome Codebreaker because I love Benicio del Toro. So I was like, okay, yeah, I like this guy. I just feel like they could have put the plume on him. I don't know. Like, what's sad about this, and this plagues all of the involved in this. The number one thing that people said of episodes 1 through 3 is when George Lucas in the documentary watched episode 1, and he's like, wow, there's a lot of stuff in here, and I could take something out, but it's all kind of intertwined. Hidden stuff, because now the story was contingent on having all of this stuff that no one cared about. And same thing with this. It's like you need the little kid who has the rebel ring. In order for him to get the rebel ring and be inspired by the Rebel Alliance, he has to meet some of them. So there you got that piece. Then you have to show that, where are they getting all of these actual machines from? Oh, okay, so there are these dealers that are selling to both sides. So that's also a gray area as well. And weapons in the war would stop, I guess. And then you also got the subplot of introducing a new character, the Asian character, who's obviously with Finn. But I kind of wish that it's been more time on that planet, Las Vegas, which I was kind of off-put by. It felt like I was watching Casino Royale. Anybody else have that feeling?
I was very at no point anywhere in or any of those scenes did I care about anything that was happening. Like, no. I was like, oh, I'm glad they freed the big-eared dog horses. They're just about 45 feet to the left, so they're clearly going to go round them up, but at least we saved them. Where are we going to hide? Be sure and leave the manhole cover wide open, and let's just put neon spray where we drop down in the hole to follow it. Like, let's slip out of this slow chase to go find a code breaker. Had her camera on while she was in the middle of a very intense fight to be following her. Hold on, let me answer this call. Yeah, it just like almost like literally thrown in.
Yeah. It was Nate, what are your thoughts on the code piece of it?
I couldn't tell what you said for the last part, and I can't even see. But
I assume it was thoughts on the slide story.
Yeah, well,
what did you think?
The side story I didn't like at all. That whole thing. To be honest, like it all started with them landing on the beach, and people were like, "Oh, why is this ship on the beach?" Couldn't they have just landed at some sort of spaceport, and this whole debacle of them being chased would have not happened? And I honestly, my biggest gripe with this is I didn't care about any of the new characters that they introduced. Benicio del Toro, Dr. Ellie Sadler, the Asian girl.
I was like, why is Laura Dern in here, and why does she have purple hair? And why is she trying to act all hard?
Yeah,
She did have that cool moment of that light speed kamikaze, but that brings me to my second point: they killed off Admiral Akbar with a throwaway line.
they sure did.
You could have had.
I was so
you could have had him do. I know you could have had him do that kamikaze, and before he does that, he goes, "It's a trap."
I'm also
Boom.
very
I'm also curious how.
No, Derek. I'm not gonna let you breeze past General Akbar. Moment of silence for General Akbar right now.
Oh, he was an admiral.
Admiral, whatever. It was a trap.
Very dear to your heart, I
Off the
see.
hook.
That's what I mean. You could have had him do. You could have had him do the kamikaze, and he says it's a trap right before he does it, and boom. Instead, you get Laura Dern. Like her, I wish she was. I wish she ended up being bad. Like there was that moment where she shoots the guards that were trying to stop her. I was like, I hope that's the turning point. That's how the First Order knew where they were. Is they had a mole, and it was her. You know, it would have made more sense to why you introduced her.
I felt like this was setting up for some sort of descent with Poe Dameron kind of having to take over, and that they had it. But I think again because of this terrible side story that it eventually became the whole backbone of the film, they sacrificed a lot. And so, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I thought they were setting up for her to be someone who was playing both sides.
Yeah.
I am still curious how she cut every single ship into one.
It doesn't matter because that was such a cool looking scene.
It was an awesome. It was really cool looking. It was cool looking.
Thank you, Nate.
The first thing I wondered, I'm like, the first thing I wondered was,
that's what I'm talking about, bro.
How did she hit every ship? That was the first thing I thought. I'm like, how did she hit every single ship and cut them perfectly in the? Yo, you just perfectly bifabricated them at light speed, all the ships.
I don't care. It was amazing. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's amazing.
It would be awesome too if I saw a sniper shoot one bullet and somehow kill 7 people without the bullet splitting. That would be imagine that pivotal moment in some movie. You're not gonna wonder how did thing. It looks cool, but
that's all it's for. It's a movie.
Or hitting a dashboard and getting light.
Derek, the whole point.
I know. Star Wars, you can hit a dashboard.
It's a movie. It was amazing to look at, and that's the whole point.
Dude, when it happened, the theater I was in erupted in applause. Like, you know how it went silent, you saw it, and then everybody just cheered.
I watched it today. Everybody in there had already seen it, and it was the bee's knees, dude. Just like, because the first time, like you said, it erupted in applause. So you didn't really get to enjoy the silence of that. Like the temptation in most space movies is for an explosion to happen and then to have some sort of explosion sound, where in actuality you wouldn't hear hardly anything at all. And so I just love.
You would hear nothing. The vacuum of space is silent.
That's my point.
Yeah, well, you said hardly. I just want to make sure you hear nothing.
But
even in Star Wars movies, there's explosion noises in space. She couldn't hit all the ships. I don't care how cool it looked. I don't like the fact that she hit all the ships perfectly down the middle. I don't like it. I have a cool scene where she just hits the main ship. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Hit the main ship.
And I don't like it.
I know. She hit all the siblings, and I didn't like it. Hit all the siblings and drop bombs on them. And don't forget. And that brings me to the bombers at the beginning of the film, where how all 8 of them were taken out within the first 3 seconds. But luckily, we have somebody who kicked the ladder. But it's a Star Wars movie. Hit the dashboard and get the light speed to work, right?
There you go. Thank you. Thank you for saving me from having to say it. Thank you.
Hit the light speed and hit 7 ships somehow, man.
All right, so let's get to the so if you've been listening to this podcast or you're watching it and you haven't watched this movie, too bad. We're spoiling it. It's all over you. We're just gonna splooge all over it. Okay. Next order of business. Let's talk about the training, because one of the biggest things people had a problem with is that Rey didn't get trained.
Well, I mean, she had all the training when she fought Kylo Ren and had those awesome lightsaber skills in the previous fight. So obviously she didn't need any more training, because that's what happened when I picked up a lightsaber. I needed no training to train with this laser sword that can decapitate me. Like, hey, if she already knows everything that's in the codex, so she couldn't even figure out how to even. Training is a flaw. Like, I know they're like, oh well, she already knew the codex. How, Sway? Even they gave us stupid midichlorian explanations for
she
Anakin.
Knew, they didn't say she knew the codex. They said there was nothing inside of those codex that she needed to learn. Like, she already knew it. And perfect. Here's perfect.
You're talking about Yoda's line?
Yeah.
I think he was talking about that she already had the books. It wasn't that she already knew she had the books, because he said there's nothing inside there that she doesn't already have. And in the end, you clearly saw the books.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking, I saw that today too when I watched the film. I was like, is it just me, or are the books inside that drawer there?
Yeah. It was.
No, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's what I was telling you the other day when you're like, they destroyed the books. I'm like, and they put them in the Falcon.
Yeah, I think that's what Yoda was getting at. It wasn't that like, oh, she's already overpowered. Yeah. She's the coolest.
Really, the whole idea of him training her, be one with the Force and let her figure it out. I mean, that's the whole point that they're getting at throughout the film, is there's this arrogance. And so it's what's weird is that's what there's this arrogance that he even bought into, that he was the great, which I thought was kind of cool because it kind of broke the fourth wall a little bit.
Because he kept hitting that legendness.
Exactly. And so what I love about it is that gave into this idea that he was this great person, which I think Yoda went through that as well, which is why we see Yoda got into his older age, and even when he crossed in through the Force, he's more silly than he was.
Mm-hmm.
So I think is that there's, this whole idea that you need to be trained. You have to be with so many midichlorians, and you have to be of a certain age, and you have to go to Coruscant, and you have to do all these things. It's like there's this, the Force doesn't belong to the Jedi or the Sith. It belongs to everyone. The Force choose people in the middle of nowhere.
A little side note, I appreciated, even if it's slightly frustrating, but I did appreciate Luke casually tossing the lightsaber over his shoulder that I've been waiting for 2 years to see a response with. And he just, you did? It was a good corrupting the system moment.
I was so upset.
To go back to your point,
thank you,
DK, like the whole running theme of this movie seemed to be like, let the past go. So it's So I mean, I think that's like
Star Wars
Luke should be the last of the Jedi, and Rey should be something else. Like, there shouldn't be a Jedi. There should be,
she's not going to be a Jedi.
But I can
Force users.
But I can see why Mark Hamill had an issue with his character. I guarantee the thing he was talking about was the irreverence that he had with that lightsaber. We set up this big. J.J. Abrams set up this amazing. And threw it over his shoulder. What?
Like,
I look at it honestly as Luke has become quirky, like Yoda. When Luke finds Yoda in episode 5, Yoda's a quirky little alien.
I see that.
But and then like you juxtapose that with what Yoda went through at the end of Return of the Sith with Order 66 and the entire Jedi being decimated. That turned him into this little hermit thing, and that's almost the same path that Luke turned into when Kylo decimated his little Jedi council or whatever Luke was creating.
Yeah. So
I mean, I didn't, the throwing of the lightsaber over his shoulder was kind of, it was almost like a fuck you. It was almost like a fuck you to people that have been waiting years. But I think that kind of it's supposed to sort of, reflect what he's like now. He's this weird hermit dude.
Yeah. Now Nate said
I respect that, and part very well. I'll say that.
We got to go into since he used the word decimated. Who got decimated in the same fashion that Darth Maul did, and dashed our hopes. Just named Derek. Let's throw it and scratch this one.
I am this all-powerful evil being, and I can sense everything. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I know when you're about to pee. I know every single thing that's...
Oh, if you're not watching the video version of this podcast,
I started to do the pantomime and actual prop usage for the audio listeners, but I pantomime blah, 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 blah. But the fact that I was so amped to the power level of this guy, down to the fact when Rey thought she was badass and she snatched the lightsaber from him and he hit her with that boomerang lightsaber upside her head. Bop. Like, I'm like, dude is the business. He knows what's up.
Dude, when he bounced that force lightning off the floor and hit Kylo.
Yes.
With that boop. Like, I was so amped, and then just for him not to, it made me want to believe. I assume he was just so focused in his hubris of that moment that he didn't even notice something as small as a lightsaber rattling next to him.
No, what it was is if you watch the scene over, what happens is the exact motion that Ren does with his lightsaber, he does it with the other one at the same time. So what he's sensing is his thoughts that he is turning to kill his true enemy. So Ren actually tricked him in his mind and did both lightsabers at the same time. So when he one in his mind, he made an assumption. And so it showed how even a wise is not lending itself more to a more experienced user as opposed to one. And we saw a similar thing when Rey got into the little skirmish that she did with Luke. She almost killed him. If she really wanted to, she just went and that was it.
Yeah.
You know, and
she had him dead to rights.
She had him. And he knew it. And I was like, oh shit. So I think that's the point of this one, to go to Nate's point, is this idea that someone who trains in the Force their whole lives is stronger than somebody who just got the Force. No, that's not true. The Force decides to dole itself out and channel itself through whoever it wants to be.
Yeah, they may be more experienced, but doesn't necessarily mean they could still be efficient or effective.
Kylo.
Yeah, exactly.
Question from one of our listeners be if you don't mind answering that. Somebody just hit me up and had a question for us.
Let me hear that question.
The question was, since now I know we have Star Wars reality versus normal reality. Okay, so bear with me on this one. A question of the average human can survive about 15 seconds in space without a spacesuit. That Leia's ability to then force pull herself all the way into the ship, a couple miles out. We just have some questions about that.
She's Superman.
Easy to answer.
She did. The solar rays. It was like, you know what? I got this.
It's simple. It's as simple as this. It's Luke Skywalker's twin sister. As simple as that. If you actually read stuff outside of the movie, she trained with Luke in the Force. That's why she was able to do that. So the Force,
he threw those all out, and those were no longer canon.
Apparently not, because
they've come out with.
Is this kind of like what they're doing in DBS?
That are considered canon.
Also have Star Wars Rebels as well, so they actually have. No, for sure. They told you. She was like, I'm just gonna zoom over here because I can do that. Like, oh, all right, Leia can use the Force. That explains everything. So that's over with. If you're still fighting that battle, I got two for you. Star Wars.
Well, I didn't know she could force generate oxygen, but yeah, cool. All right, that's a cool thing that they can do. Exactly. Answer, Roscoe, you got that? Leia just force created oxygen and force pulled herself, and that's just it. Star Wars says it's so. That's all you need. If Star Wars put it in the movie, that's just how it is. Like cutting all them ships in half.
To quote Stan Lee, okay, Stan Lee, someone asked him who would win a fight between, I believe he said, the Hulk and like someone else. I think he might have said Superman. And he said whoever the comic writers decide to win that day. It's like,
True. It's right. How many times have we argued about a movie and we always come to the finality of it's in the script. It's in the script. That's exactly what it is. And it's in the script.
That's the thing that this huge takeaway from all of this is I love what Nate said, so I'm going to repeat it. This whole movie said, all right, the last film, The Force Awakens, we gave you a celebration of the past. Now we're moving forward. And there were several lines and actions that specifically just said to you, let go of the past is dead, burn it, get rid of it. You're still holding on. Yes, you're still holding on to the past. You know, it's like, you know, you got to let that go. And at some point you have to realize that Derek said this in a previous podcast. I love that too. I love the show with you guys because y'all throw such awesome things at us. Derek said, I want to be in that position that I've never been in before with a true Star Wars film. We threw away episodes 1, 2, 3, a true Star Wars top tier film. You know, I want to feel what that was like. If you go back and read the history books and go back and watch the documentaries, a lot of people were pissed off that Luke was the son of Darth Vader. A lot of people were pissed off that Leia and Luke weren't going to get together at the end of the trilogy. So, you know, it's like at some point you have to just accept. And I know
people lived in Virginia, West Virginia,
in our society,
and Arkansas.
In our society, people feel like we feel so entitled to take control of it, and because Marvel kind of bends to our will a little bit, we feel like other comic book companies that do adaptations and revivals should do the same. But no, I love
we are entitled to have our own movies. we the fans demand multi-million-dollar studios to make our movies.
Exactly. That's for you and only you. This is a Derek Lewis imagination.
That's it. I want to go see a movie that was perfectly custom for Derek Lewis to like, enjoy, laugh at. And I will say this. There was this one part, and I was the only person in the theater of about 300 people that laughed like a belly laugh at this scene. Like, I thought it was the funniest point in the movie. And it was when Kylo so loquaciously described Rey's everything. Your parents were nothing.
Yes,
they sold you for scrap. They were
money.
Nobody. You're nothing. Join me.
They're in pauper graves on Jakku.
And Nate called it. Nate said it on the last podcast. He said, I believe she's going to be a nobody. That's exactly what it was. I got to give it up.
Heck yeah.
I will say this. Kylo Ren is my favorite character of the new Star Wars movies. He has the best arc. Like, him killing Snoke didn't bug me at all because that's just the Sith way. You overtake your master and you kill him. Like, eventually that's what's supposed to happen. And he does that. And this is like, we're watching the arc of a villain that
dude.
That they're trying
with you on that.
They're doing with Kylo what they should have done with Anakin.
Yes, I love the fact that
what they tried to do with Anakin.
I love that, like, the scene where for sure Kylo was about to kill his mom and she's accepting it, and he pulls back and says, I don't have to be the guy that does it. It'll still
somebody else will.
Like, and it's like he's like, I'm gonna do it by my rules. I love he crashed the helmet that is partly made of Darth Vader's old helmet. I love that. I just love that.
Hey, what a people's frustration. Some people's frustration.
We got another question by the way.
Okay, you want me to? I'll pause this point. Go ahead.
All right, Colin, pull it up.
Well, mine's a quick one.
All right, go ahead.
It's just what some people were frustrated in the Force Awakens was Kylo Ren's hissy fit, teenage upset Dylan, turn on red jumpsuit apparatus and slam the door mentality. I like the fact that Star Wars was like, so what? That's who he is, and we got to see even more of it. And just this kid with this enormous amount of power, and his power swings with his emotions down to point every gun in him and shoot until I say stop. Lower me and I'll take care of myself. Just with his emotion, like, of swinging the entire tide of the First Order just with a passing hissy fit. I like that they're holding on to that's just how he is, and that's exactly how he will run the First Order.
And I love the payoff of him slamming that Moff dude into the wall, like, and choking him.
Yeah.
He's taking so much shit off this dude the entire time. And he's like, I'm done taking shit off of you now.
You almost feel for him, like, just the way Snoke was talking to him throughout the movie. You're like, man, this guy just talks a lot of shit, you know? Like,
I love the payoff of him.
And subtly, Kylo's just like, you know what? You are talking a lot of shit. Like, but you almost think he's going to turn. They have the best lightsaber battle in all of Star Wars. And then he turns to Rey and he's like, join me.
Dude.
You know, and then she realizes he didn't turn to light. Like,
yeah,
he's going full dark. You know, he's going Wesley Snipes.
From Empire.
Yes! Wesley Snipes. Yes, full dark. Wesley Snipes. I love you, Nate.
I love that callback from Empire too, where it's "Join me and we shall rule the galaxy."
Yeah,
But it was Kylo Ren style. Join me and we'll forget this First Order and forget the rebels. I'll just do whatever I want.
Hey.
No one can stop us.
Look, and Kylo's a little bit of a ladies' man. He was like, "All right, my homegirl about to call me. Let me take this shirt off real quick." He's like, in the gym, I just want to show you something. Get my undercover boss on right now. And then
I'm just saying, you see these scars, girl? What's up? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And then
He was standing shirtless for like days, just waiting for her to call him.
dude sprayed himself with like a bottle of like oil, keeping himself.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see him like come out from like under a speeder with like a dirty rag. Oh, I didn't see you there. Just like just stepping out, brushing his hair out.
99, 100.
Yes. All right. It's a deep burn. It's a deep burn.
Got another
All right,
question.
what's the question?
This one is from Ian Townsend. Shout out to you, bro. He says, what do you guys think about the fans of this series? Nate mentioned it earlier about the fans, but do you think fan expectations about this movie maybe made this an unrealistic goal and forgot that Star Wars is essentially a space opera and writing and acting has never been that great? It's an enjoyable experience that you just turn your brain off and go, wow. I love that he asked the question and gave the answer.
Well, I mean, that's almost exactly what I said. Like, none of these movies are particularly, you know, they're not going to win an Oscar. We're not coming here to watch Schindler's List. It's these. Can you imagine Schindler's List in space?
Oh, lightsabers.
But that's the beauty of Star Wars. You know, watching in the theater, every single time, right when the opening crawl comes on, people fucking cheer and clap, and no other movie does that at all. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and these movies are almost like a time capsule. Like when you go and watch it again, and I highly encourage you guys to watch it again if you haven't. When you see that opening crawl again, you have to. It reminds you. You almost are like, I'm being teleported back to like 1983, 84 right now. So like, I gotta turn my brain off from what I believe are epic conventions as of today. This is going back to something that was based on epic conventions from yesteryear. And it's going to try its best to stay true to that while also bringing it up to date. So, yes, Ian, I do think people's expectations were a little too high. I think it's the same issue that, you know, I had a similar issue with I mentioned on this podcast more than once, Iron Man 3. Nate was there with me when I watched Iron Man 3 when we were in New Jersey.
Brunswick,
and I remember walking out of the theater and said I hated this film. To Age of Ultron, and I understood. I got it. I was like, okay, sometimes a film needs to be made so that it can be a bridge to the payoff. A lot of stuff being done here that's a long con type of thing. It's you're not going to get the payoff in this film, although I felt like we got a lot more for our money.
Speaking of,
said this in the last podcast.
Speaking of, how many times did you think this movie was about to close credit scenes and it kept going? And you're like, I'm like, oh, they're gonna cliffhanger me with this Luke fight. I'm not even gonna get excited. Like that, like you said, you did get a lot of payoffs.
Yeah. What kept like this was a kind of a nitpick for me too, was yes, the whole movie was about the First Order chasing them, but every time they got away, it's like, oh, we got to run away again. Ah, they caught up to us. We got to run away again. You know, like I thought they were going to get to a planet done. Like we're safe for now, but no, you know,
yeah,
it got kind of old.
I think they could have gotten to the planet a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Starting up. Give me a second.
I also think that the First Order could have dropped their laser significantly closer to the doors of the planet. Let's drop it about 100 miles away, boys, and slowly work our way up to it. Okay, let's head up to. And I was a little curious about, like, Finn had to get saved by a high-speed wreck. She had to hit him with the kamikaze, and I really thought she died right there. I didn't expect to see her again. I was a little like, oh, I guess she's still alive. Why did Finn's ship melt before his skin did?
Broken my heart if she did die.
Why did?
Here's what I didn't like.
Before his skin did in the laser beam.
How is it that every other ship had no shield? It was like open air. But then you get to his ship when it's melting, and he magically has a shield, a window shield. I was like,
he has a windscreen.
Yeah, it was like they didn't have those before. Like, yeah, I kind of felt like, again, this is going back to what we said already. Finn was a waste.
Star Wars.
Finn should have been in his coma, and he should have woke up at the very end. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It just, that was the one mess up. And I think they, like I said earlier, I feel like to Nate's point, they could have gotten to that abandoned, that opening star fight. They could have really spent a little bit more time on that planet either. It was just very much in a rush to try to get out of that planet either. Also, and there was also, they did the punch it thing a lot, where the person's about to get shot up and they go punch it, and then they're out of harm's way. They did that at least twice at the very beginning.
And that was obviously the only dreadnought in the entire fleet of the First Order. The only one. They couldn't have called any other ship to back them up. That was the last dreadnought of the fleet out. But I will say I did like the entrance of that dreadnought where it hit that sonito sound. Boom! Just was business and a battleship ready to like handle. I wanted to see that thing really like take out the rebels, but
yeah, Ian Townsend also made another point. If anyone is like shocked by the hyperspace tracking, that's the Easter egg from Rogue One. So they've been setting it up for a little bit that they were going to be able to do this at some point or another, that this was being in development. So there was some.
So it took them that long to develop it, though. That's a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So but yeah, I agree. I think, I'm one of those people that tend to I don't like too much exposition. But they needed more exposition to explain why. Like, we all get that the reason why they didn't immediately was one, there was a throwaway line that said, the Moff, he says, we have all of this technology and we can't shoot them out of the sky. And he was like, yeah, but this smaller ship can move a lot faster than us. And at that distance, our lasers can't take them out. So, but then at the same time, could you not?
They could just use light speed?
Ahead of
the rebel. We have a lot of fuel. Or, hey, let's call in about 682 more ships to just surround them. Hey, guys, we have the last remaining fleet of the rebel. They're headed toward this empty-ass planet. Let's just obliterate them right now. You know what? I'd rather have a slow burn. Let's chase them for 19 and a half hours.
We can get with it if there's some reason, which there obviously is. If you watch it, pay attention to it, all of the hints are there as to why they are, and they do things to kind of set up for why they're not doing it. And in other Star Wars films, they talk about what they're trying to accomplish with taking out the Rebel Alliance. However, just a couple of extra lines that say, hey, with Snoke specifically saying, I want to draw this out, I want to enjoy this, something along those lines, so we understand what the point is.
Just enough.
Yeah, just a little.
So that's all.
I feel like
that's
this
all
one's been beaten.
That's all a player really needs, a little bit.
Yeah. Across the board, it sounds like we all think that this is a good film. It was definitely worth seeing. Nate said that this was his best Star Wars film in ranking. Is that what you said, Nate?
Fourth.
Yes,
fourth.
So it's episode 5.
That's not counting 5, 4, 7, 8. That's not counting Rogue One, because I think Rogue One
has got to be almost my favorite Star Wars, man.
It would, but I'm only counting like the episodes, the Skywalker saga.
Yeah. I agree. I would say that this one, I actually like this one better than Force Awakens. So I would say Empire, Episode 4, A New Hope, and then this one. That's what I would say. Derek?
Empire is still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people. Empire, Force Awakens, and then Episode 1, and then this.
Interesting.
Because
you love Darth
I just enjoyed that climatic firefight with Anakin in space, and just John Williams. Let's give it up for John Williams.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Duel of the Fates.
Like,
yeah,
Duel of the Fates made me love that scene.
When Luke's quote unquote death scene, I love that it started. Yeah! His saga started with him looking at a sunset, and it ended with him looking at a sunset.
And on top of that, the score of the Imperial March. It was like, it's like but his thing. I loved it. I was like, I love this thing. Yeah, and it was beautiful. That his death scene was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was an amazing scene.
They gave him a lot more grace.
I'm getting thinking about it.
a lot better than Asgard.
It sure did.
Oh yeah, Han got that dirty back alley shanking thrown in the trash can. Like, man. Who did he piss off? George Lucas was like, no, this is for that shit he was talking back in '79. Stab that Joker and throw him over the bridge.
Man,
I do have some credit where credit is due that I feel that I need to pay Nate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And before I do this, typically say shout out to Alex Maldonado. Congratulations, Nate, on winning the bet for Perfect Price is Right rules being the closest without going over and calling it $220 million. I am a little salty that you said 220 before I said it because I wanted to say it, so I throttled back to 215. But shout out to Alex Maldonado for hook, line, and sinker. And
you know what burns Derek even more so, Nate, is that we previously had a gentleman's bet where I bet a certain amount and Derek did that amount in $1.
Yeah.
If he had done that in this case, he would have won.
The one time I didn't do it.
The one time you didn't do it. I was like, because you always save it for me. I was like, oh, yes, he's going to think twice about that one.
I know, because you dropped it all the way down to 200. You took the knife just to know that I wouldn't be like 201 because well played. But congrats, Nate, on the money, $220 million. Second largest opening for a movie ever behind The Force Awakens. Disney continues to become the monopoly conglomerate of the entertainment industry.
Yo, and let's give a shout out to Lucasfilm Disney because they created an experience when it came time for that premiere. I applaud all companies need to take this and learn from it. When it comes time for Avengers Infinity War Part 1, on that Thursday, they need to have first showing that costs 3 times as much as the normal ticket because we will all be stupid and pay it. Because I surely did. I paid $35 for my movie ticket. No popcorn. Okay? Actually, there was some popcorn included, but I wanted the good bucket.
But you didn't go get it either? I didn't go get it either.
This watching the movie last Thursday was the first time I saw the Infinity War trailer on the big screen.
Bro.
God damn.
I got the bucket. There it is.
I have yet to open my poster. Still in the wrapper.
I got mine too. I don't know where I put it though. But yeah, Nate. Yes, Nate. Infinity War Part 1, the trailer. Derek and I already talked about it. What are your thoughts?
Dead ass.
I mean, at this point, I've seen the trailer at least 50 times, but this was the first up on the big screen, and goddamn, it was magical.
I mean, I got a little tickle in my penile area, a little bit, like
a tickle in your pickle,
like a little something. Like I was like, oh man,
like I let out a guttural. And I did hit the Tiger Woods fist pump and was just like, yes. And I told BK this, Nate, but the second Thanos came on screen, I audibly said, yes, I need them stones, fam. Bro, he comes out and seeing this trailer on an IMAX screen, I would have come off $20 just to see it. Like I'm reminded of when you were talking about what you would have paid for Justice League. I would have paid $20 just to see that for an hour straight.
I love like
Yeah,
the subtlety of, you know, like when Thanos steps out for the very first time, you see him sort of like sniff around, like, you know, this is first time on Earth. He's like,
what is this?
and then he
place?
smirks a little,
Is
like he knows, like, oh, I got this.
this. Yes. Oh, exquisite acting.
Yeah. Exquisite acting.
There's always one of those scenes in each of, ever since like Civil War, they always have that one scene where you just know somebody's on it. And I cannot wait for May 4th. I cannot wait.
Yes.
I go over to Wakanda in February because
exactly
we got to step into the spotlight.
Woo!
Man. Well, speaking of exquisite acting, we got a little time left in this episode, and here's what my thought is. Okay, I want to spend a lot more time on our top 5 because I got some films in there, and if I got some films in there that's gonna want some conversation, I imagine you guys got some in there as well. So what I want to do is I kind of want to breeze through our bottom 5 of our top 10. So this will be our top 10 films of 2017, part 1 of 2. And then the next episode that we were filmed together will be our top 5. So, dead ass, I'm going to need them top 5s, them bottom 5s.
Right. You want to lead us off?
Yeah, I'll lead off. My number 10, and it barely made the list. Barely made the list.
All right.
Spider-Man Home.
All right.
This one I had a hard time because I was very underwhelmed by this film. The only thing that saved it was Michael Keaton, to be totally honest with you. Michael Keaton made it for me.
Gotcha. I agree with you on that one.
Number 10, let's go, Nate.
Mine is a movie called It Comes at Night. It stars Joel Edgerton. Edgerton? Anyways, it was marketed as a horror movie, but it is not a horror movie by any means. It's more in vein of like The Road with Viggo Mortensen. You know, it's a dystopian future. It's a family trying to survive. It's a very good movie.
Okay, I'm trying to get up with a chance. I haven't seen that one. Derek.
Absolutely. And my number 10 comes in at American Assassin. I saw it twice.
I had a feeling that was going to be your number 10.
And trust me, I had a long debate about my number 10 spot, and I respectfully put him on there. It's a good action movie, and it's different than the average one. I'm telling you, when you guys actually finally watch it, even though I've been telling you guys to watch it since August, but it's cool. It's just me. I get it. When you guys actually watch it, you'll be like, oh, that wasn't that bad. It was pretty good. Just because of a specific scene, I want to get y'all's take on that, but absolutely.
All right, so Derek, let's start.
Yeah, that's my number 10
for number 9.
Number 9 comes in at a movie that made me hate one of my favorite actors at Kong Skull Island. Very entertaining. I enjoyed this. I didn't expect the story to be exactly how it. And just seeing the fact that they have the Monarch throughout the whole movie, and then you get the teaser of Rodan, King Ghidorah, Mothra, and Godzilla at the end. Like, what more could I ask for?
I just love having Derek on our podcast. He keeps it interesting. His top 10. Well, I didn't expect that to make anyone's top 10. So that's interesting. Yeah. All right. Nate.
Mine was Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 9. This suffered because we had 3 bad Spider-Man movies before this, but this is the Spider-Man we deserve. And you're right, Michael Keaton was the highlight of the movie, but
it was a good start off film, even though we were kind of knee deep in the Marvel, stuff at that point. Yeah, so I think the next one will be much better.
Yeah.
All right, my number 9 is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. This one, to credit Derek, it was, while it had a lot of good original storytelling and it had some great moments, it was very much a repeat of what worked very well for Guardians 1. And dare I say, they hit the copy and paste button for Thor Ragnarok as well. So the problem I have with
I
Marvel
just watched
is
that again this weekend
higher.
and had that same thought.
I'm telling you, dude, it was copying.
I just watched that this weekend. I'm like, oh my god, this was Thor Ragnarok. How did I not see it?
Yeah. So if Thor Ragnarok hadn't come out this year, this probably would go a lot higher. But considering where it is, I kind of was like, I don't know if I got a whole lot of story out of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Seeing where they're going with, and here's a more important piece to that. Seeing where they're going in the direction with Thanos and Infinity War Part 1, I really don't see a need to have even had a Guardians 2 by now. Because they could have not had a movie.
We could have waited till Infinity.
We could have waited.
Right? Yeah. The problem, it didn't serve the entire MCU in any way, shape, or form.
It didn't at all.
This movie was a bunch of side. Like it was just a bunch of side flashes,
but it was good. It was my number 9.
You know,
Nate, let's go to you for number 8.
My number 8 it was either going to be Guardians 2 or this movie, and I went with this movie, Wonder Woman.
Woo!
And you know how much I argued against this movie. Other than the third act, I thought this movie was exactly what the DCEU should be. You know, It was a very enjoyable movie, and it made me believe in the universe again, which Justice League brought me back down the reality.
Yeah, and to go to what you guys were just saying, this film ended up not serving any other film in the franchise. It ended up being a standalone thing in the end of it. Yeah. Derek?
No.
Number 8.
My number 8, to round out the bottom 3, Spider-Man.
Nice.
My number 8.
Nice. So we are.
I can't really say much more than what you guys have already said.
So at the top of the next podcast, we all need to take a shot for that one. All right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. I'll go on to number 7, right? No, number 8. Number 8. Is that you just did number 8? So it's mine, number 8. John Wick 2.
Oh, all right.
Interesting.
John Wick 2. It would have placed a lot higher if they went a little bit deeper with the story, but it did extend the mythos, and I got a much bigger sense for what this world was like, and it had some badass fucking gun scenes in it. Jesus Christ.
Say no more.
Testosterone in a film. Nate, you're number 8.
My number 8 was Wonder Woman.
Nice. All right.
7. We're on the
7, yeah.
Okay, so we're on the 7 now.
Absolutely.
Do your number 7.
All right, I'm number 7. Okay. My number 7 was a movie that came out earlier this year.
Really? Number 7?
This was my number 7. I like this movie because
only number 7. Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
This is only number 7, but this was a very long drawn out battle in my head to get this to number 7 because I ran through every single movie and I'm like, but I appreciated this. So I give this a solid number 7. This is his first movie. You know what I mean? And movie. It was great. It was deep. It was psychological. I really appreciated this movie.
All right. Nate, you're number 7.
It's this movie called The Big Sick. It was a comedy. It's actually a very sweet movie. It's genuinely funny. It's got the guy from Silicon Valley.
This will be talked about again. Just want to let you know.
Okay.
This will be talked about again.
And
it will be talked about on the next episode in length, actually.
Right. I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it.
Very good.
Very good movie.
Alex Maldonado, shout out to you. I would have not seen this film if not for your review. So, yes. My number 7 is Logan.
Ugh. 2 Hugh Jackmans. 1 good.
Production of all that is Logan down to Hugh Jackman. 1 bad, 1 good.
I felt like Spider-Man
Mountain,
Homecoming.
he really doesn't like that.
I felt like Spider-Man Homecoming and Logan were kindred spirits. This was finally the Wolverine standalone movie we deserved all along. And unfortunately, it came at the very end. But there were a lot of beats, a lot of storylines. The world in which Logan lives in is the world I wish we could have had in the first Wolverine movie. So for that reason, that's why I put it on my top 10, because we finally got some payoff with that character, in my opinion.
And that's your solid number 6, huh?
Solid number 7.
Solid number 7.
So
my bad.
Yeah. Now my solid number 6.
Take us to it.
Wonder Woman is my number 6.
All right.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that. We know where I put Wonder Woman.
It would have made top 5 if not for the
third act.
Reducing a woman down to needing to be in love with a man to save the world. That was the thing that ruined it for me.
The anti-Wonder Woman plot line of needing a man to find her secret power.
Man, I kind of almost wish Steve Trevor wasn't even in this film. Like, I kind of feel like I don't know what he did for the film, to be totally honest with you. I don't really feel what he served other than to give her some of that D. You know, and he gave her the D.
Batman versus Superman. So we had to put him in here.
Exactly. Got to get him in here. And and all these, and then a random Cherokee in Europe. All right.
He makes mention of, the white man decimating his homeland, so he goes to where the white men come from.
Yeah. Teach them a lesson.
I'm telling you. Derek, what's your number 6?
My number 6 comes in, and this was a tough decision for me, y'all, to figure out my top 5. To not put this one in my top 5 was tough for me. But this comes in with Split. Split is my solid number 6 right here.
Really? That didn't even make my top 10 list.
All right. Okay. Well, but it definitely made my top 10 list all the way number 6.
It's good. That's kind of like his big sick then. That's interesting.
It's better than Wonder Woman, but that's what different opinions are for.
I don't know about that.
Oh, really? You just said the whole reason for Wonder Woman to be Wonder Woman that she didn't need any man, but this Wonder Woman needed a man.
I love Split. I get why you loved it. I'm not going to discredit it.
This guy, okay? I can relate to this guy.
Yeah. I understand how your mind thinks. However, there is no replay value with this movie. Moving along. Nate, 6.
Yeah.
My number 6. My number 6 is Star Wars Episode 8, Last Jedi.
Nice.
All right.
That'll be on the next episode as well, Nate. So we spent a whole episode on this one. God, I kind of want to do the rest of them now, but I think we need to save them. We got to save them. So
save it.
Yeah, if you love, if you are listening to this, if you are watching it, and you want to be a part of the conversation, send us your top 5. You can DM any one of us, or you can send an email to playerwaypodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's playerwaypodcast@gmail.com, or you can leave us a comment page, or you can, like I said, DM any one of us. Also, a little thing that our Play Your Way Network Texas office is coming up with is there is a $100 gift card for people who, it's going to be a random drawing, but what you got to do is you got to like, comment, and share posts.
And a 5-star rating.
And a 5-star rating.
It's like, comment, and share. Rating is always appreciated.
You got to be an MVP for us, okay? But if you are MVP for us, we are going to give you the right payback, the
Player Way.
Exactly. So Derek and his team out there in Texas has got that going on. We really appreciate you guys for putting that together, and more details to come. Just watch us on Facebook and you'll see more details on the timeline. When you see that it says to share, just do what it says, and we will do a random drawing before Christmas so you have enough time to actually use it for Christmas. So there you go.
That's right.
What have you guys been up to this week before we round it out?
When I was checking the old Reddit wire today, I saw a news story, and I felt a partial kindred to it because as you are my anime godfather, you also introduced me to the world of K-pop when we actually had that feast back in Atlanta last week. And unfortunately, the lead singer, a very popular K-pop band, Kim Jong-hyun, was found unresponsive, apparent suicide, and into the story. And this guy is a very well-known artist. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. So I went to one of my sources. Galadriel is by far one of the most knowledgeable, bona fide nerds that I know. He had a very loquacious statement to say about it. Well, I'm not really sure what to say or how to feel. Kim Jong-hyun was an extremely talented singer-songwriter. He had an absolutely angelic voice and was extremely talented dancer as well. His love for his music was obvious to his fans. He was the main vocalist for the Korean boy band group SHINee, making music since 2008. Their music was extremely upbeat, boppy, completely fun to listen to and to sing along with. He ventured out to make some music as a solo artist for a while as well during that time. I've been listening to his music all day today, and my heart hurts. It's absolutely tragic to hear about anyone reaching such a low point in their life that they feel like suicide is the only option they have. This reinforces the ideals that mental illness is not a joke. Money or fame you have, you can still be affected by depression. Human being. The world has lost an absolute beautiful person this day. My heart goes out to his family, friends, and fans. Thank you so much, Galadriel, for participating in that journalistic story by corrupting the system. Thanks for helping me out with that. And very, very well worded by her. She put that together very well.
Absolutely.
Boys on the network, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Galadriel. Thank you for giving that to me.
Derek, thank you for that story. That your fingers are definitely on the pulse. This story actually got a lot of headlines and a lot of news time here in the States because there's been already a conversation about the kind of sweatshop-esque churning out of music and musicians out there in Korea as part of the K-pop community. It's no secret that to even make it out there, you have to spend, almost a decade just being put through this Mickey Mouse Club like training camp without being paid. And then when you finally do get paid, some people have to split their money so many ways within these big groups that they're sharing food, and they have to stay in these small apartments and things like that. So it's a style of music that has really gotten worldwide appeal, but where they're at in terms of rights for musicians is so far behind where America is. It's very similar to how the whole rock and roll process, if you think about Cadillac Records and other, types of situations like that, it's very similar out there for those types of artists in that part of the world. So that's definitely a conversation that needs to be had. And we want to recognize not just our domestic artistic expression and the people that produce entertainment for us just here in the States, but also that worldwide appeal as well. And K-pop is something that out here in America, out here in Atlanta especially, is really huge. So thank you, Derek, for that story. You definitely helping us keep our eyes on the world the player way, man. Nate, you got anything for us?
No problem, man. You got it.
I've never been a big fan of K-pop, so sadly but it is sad that, this guy passed away. He seemed very popular. Yeah.
Please update your profile picture, Nate. Gondor sins.
Exactly, man. I mean, this was a great episode. Thanks for everyone who listened and sent in questions. This show is an extension of you. This is how you, our viewers, and us ourselves as hosts consume media the player way. You know, so feel free if you want to be a part of the show and you want to send things in. Obviously, you know, internet speed is a thing, so we can't have too many people on the show at one time. But we will always read any questions that you might have, or if you want to chime in, please send us information. Again, if you want to find us and get in contact with us, you can send us emails to playerwaypodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's playerwaypodcast@gmail.com. Or you can DM any of us on social media as you find us. And for sure, continue to send us ratings, man. If you want the show to grow and you want it to be next level, feel free. Just a little, to be transparent for a second, I myself have decided to take my journey when it comes to this podcast thing to the next level. So I'm spending a whole lot more time on it. That's the reason why you're sending a lot more episodes and seeing a lot more conversations. So the more energy you give us, the more energy we have to build this
Player way. In essence, lend us your energy.
Exactly. Well, if there's nothing else to go to the order, shouts out to my co-captains, Derek.
That's me, Derek Lewis, corrupting the system on Instagram, and you take out the vowels on Twitter.
And Nate.
That's me. Maintaining the system because Derek's fucking.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah, putting it back together. And yes. I am your resident DJ, BK, helping you guys understand how to curate media the player way. Indeed, man. So if there's nothing else in the good order, we're going to shout this right on out. And Nate, do us the right way.
Peace out, Rabbit.
See you guys next week. Hey.
I got to say, I did watch American Assassin.
Hold on for a second. I didn't quite finish it out.
Wait.
Exactly.
And that is not a good movie, man.
Hold on. And no matter what road you decide to take or path you decide to follow, make sure you're doing that shit the player way. Now, we'll see you next week. Now play my music. Shout out to HBK. All right. You guys can stop your recording on your end. Go ahead and send me those files. Exporting right now. Guys, this was a good one, man. Shout out to anybody who's watching because it made it awesome. It made it an awesome episode to have questions and stuff. I wish we could have that all the time. We understand people's lives are busy. Nate is itching. What's up, bro?
I didn't want to say it while he was doing his top 10 because I didn't want to, but American Assassin kind of sucks, man. Like, what was so great about it?
It was a good action movie, man. You don't see those kind of movies out these days. Like, how many of those type of good action
John Wick 2. I don't know. Name it, man.
All right, so that's two. That's two.
You know,
Equilibrium back in 2002.
I'm talking about like this day and age. Like this day and age, it's Marvel.
Look, this was not a good movie.
Scene on the beach. No movie has you thinking that he's about to get a Bahama Mama and then that's what grabbed my attention. But that's why it's my top 10.
I didn't want to say it during the podcast. I was like, I'll say this for
I just wanted to wait till we're still live.
I was waiting for you to say Justice League was number 10. I was waiting for you to say Justice League was number 10. Number 10.
Listen, man.
We haven't got to the top 5 yet, have we?
Let me ask y'all a question. Please tell me that War for the Planet of the Apes is in y'all's top 5.
Why would we tell you? You're just going to have to wait.
No.
I'm just telling y'all. I mean,
we told you over the summer. What do you mean? We told you.
I didn't know. Bro, I didn't know.
I told you. Do you go back and listen to our War Planet of the Apes podcast?
I did. That's why I eventually did get to see it, but I watched it again today.
Nice.
I watched it again today because I was like, is this really deserve the spot I'm about to give it?
I told you, man. Derek,
did it really deserve the spot I gave it? I think it does, man.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Boom, bro. Don't even get me hyped. We still live. We still live. Cut this. Cut this. Cut this.
Put it too good. Put it too good. Put it too good. Put it too good.
Cut.
That movie.
I had to pull the plug. He's lost it.
I had to watch it again today. I was like, Rachel. I said, Rachel, I need to watch this again before we go on to the podcast real quick. And she was like, okay.
If I can't remember what I said on the podcast back over the summer, but I feel like I had the sentiment of this is one of the best war movies I've ever seen.
Man, Nate, I don't see how that movie didn't make your top 10. I just don't understand.
It's the same reason Logan didn't either. I mean, to me, the same movie.
I don't know about that, man. War of the Planet of the Apes.
They might as well have called War of the Planet of the Apes.
Two Caesars. One good, one bad.
That's
just called Caesar. You got this little girl that barely talks.
Yeah, but that's the reason to watch it.
All right.
No, so wait, are we still gonna do Thursday? Thursday 6:30 Central.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. So
and B,
I think that's what we originally agreed on, right?
Yeah, same time. We're gonna do it on Thursday. That's gonna be our top 5. And that
all right, we'll finish up the top 5 this Thursday, and then next Monday is a Christmas holiday.
Yeah. So that being said, Derek, Nick's what I said this afternoon. If you can try to get that
about the deep
dive for, let's see if we can do the deep dive on either Friday evening or Wednesday evening.
I'll reach out and ask. I won't be able to do it Wednesday. Well, I might be able to do it Wednesday evening. I'll just have to say I have an appointment after work. I'm gonna reach out. As you could tell, that quote that I read, and like, so it to at least give you kind of the idea of the type of person that you'd be able to deep dive. Because I remember you said you wanted to kind of educate these nerds, and I feel like your deep dive is going to be a great podium one, and she would be a really good guest for you.
Well, I wouldn't mind doing a deep dive on the state of K-pop, actually. So I wouldn't mind doing that with her.
And she's up on it, man.
It's actually a huge conversation happening right now.
All right,
online. It's just the shit these people have to do and have to put up with just to make music and make money doing it. It's crazy, dude. It reminds me of like a hardcore reminds me of what it was like back in like you see those old movies with like Frankie Lyman shooting up and stuff like that, just to kind of cope with being in a business that doesn't care about them, you know. So,
exactly.
Yeah, if she's listening, I would love to do that particular podcast about K-pop and let's just go down that path.
All right,
cool. All right, man. Well, let me know about
I'll get the feelers out
Thursday, if not before.
No problem, man. All right, man. Later. I'm emailing you right now.
Boom. Out.
Take it easy, Nate.